I'm Mike Heitman of Hidden Stories, climbing on yet another industrial artifact on the corner of Francis and King. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Nicholas Reese, the artist responsible for initiating the Industrial Artifacts Project.
I'm Nicholas Reese. I'm a local artist. I've lived in Waterloo region since 1961. Came here when I was 12. And at that time, when we first came, 61, Kitchener, Waterloo, Galt, Preston were very much industrial cities. It became a heritage project to preserve our industrial heritage. It became a large-scale sculpture project to preserve work and present it as sculpture. And first and foremost, it also was a rescue operation, because these machines, at one point, the companies were closing so quickly and the machinery was being disposed of so quickly that, I just felt something had to be done. The ones that I'll be talking about now are located on Francis Green on King Street opposite the Kaufman Lofts, which used to be the old Kaufman footwear plant. A very significant piece of industrial architecture in its own right. The most noticeable artifact at Francis Green, I think, is the very first one that we put out in 2005, and that's a large industrial punch press that has something of a mysterious origin in that we know it was used in Kitchener, but we do not know which factory it was used in. And that's because it came out of a junkyard. And I think that probably says something about the nature of the project as a rescue operation or a retrieval operation, when even a junkyard wants to get rid of their stuff. One of those was a bandsaw that I got at the auction. Kaufman, for some reason, had a woodworking shop in the rubber factory. I'm not sure what they used it for, but it was used nevertheless. And this bandsaw is of interest in that, again, it's quite old, probably early 20th century, but it was made by the Jackson Cochran Company, which was located in Kitchener and very close to Francis Green. The other two pieces, three pieces actually, two of them are part of what was called a calendar roller, which was again used by Kaufman. Calendar rollers, as I understand it, rolled out rubber latex or other rubber on a flat bed, not unlike the etching press that I have in the other room. And these two pieces are the two sides of the roller. So the roller is missing, and they would have supported a bed and the roller. The final artifact at Francis Green is one of my favorites. It's something that's called an alligator shear, well over 100 years old. I'm guessing it was probably late 19th century. And this one I purchased from a company called Brown Steel. And it's an interesting story in its own right, because Brown Steel was located at the foot of Union Street, just off Lancaster in Kitchener. And they were in a building that was the remnant of a building that had been built, I think in the early 20th century, as a sugar beet factory. It was a very large, imposing building. There are photos extant of it. And for some reason they didn't make a go of it. And most of the building was torn down except for this small wing. And Brown Steel, amongst other customers, supplied steel to the city of Kitchener. It's called an alligator shear because it had two jaws that literally snapped, and what they did, they would bite off pieces of steel stock, whether it was rod or bar stock. And of course, in order to do that, it needed a tremendous amount of torque. So there were two large, probably more than two, but two very large visible gears at the back, which provided the snapping action. And this was the second industrial revolution. And I felt we needed to, first of all, honor the people, the working men and women in this region who, after all, had made this community and were always the last hired, first fired. So I dedicated the project to working men and women in Waterloo region.